In this video, we're going to show you how to install upper control arm bushings on your Jeep Wrangler located in your suspension. Using a 19mm socket, go ahead, loosen and remove your lug nuts. Once we get these off, remove the wheel, set it aside. This upper portion control arm right here, we have a 15mm nut and a 15mm bolt. I'm going to use our box end on the bolt head. Use our socket on the other side, loosen and remove the nut. Now I'm going to pop a ratchet and a socket on the bolt head, and I'm just going to try and unthread this bolt just to get out of the bushing itself. You don't want to hit the end of this here with a hammer because you can mushroom over the threads and ruin that bolt. So that's why we're opting to go this way here. Now before we remove this bolt completely, at this point here, we're going to go ahead and put a jack or a pole jack underneath the axle. Now there's a possibility that the axle itself, the tube and the housing, will shift forward or backward when you remove this bolt, or it may not. Just be aware that that can happen. On the back side of the control arm, on the inside of the frame, there's a bolt going through the control arm and it runs through to the other side. We're going to access the nut through a hole in the frame on the outside. So we're going to put a wrench on this here and we're going to put our socket in and loosen and remove this bolt. On the bolt head, we're going to use our 15mm wrench. Go ahead and put that on there. Now on the inside of this frame hole right here is a 15mm nut you can see down inside. We're going to use a deep socket and extension to go ahead and get down inside that. We're going to hold a wrench on the inside of the frame and use our impact gun on the outside to loosen and remove that nut and then work that bolt out. Now let's go ahead and work that bolt out of the control arm. Got to remove that bolt. With that rear bolt removed, you can go ahead and remove that front bolt and wiggle that control arm out. Now if you have a press tool to go ahead and press this out of the axle tube itself, I want to go ahead and use that. We're going to use an air chisel and we're going to slowly work this out. On our control arm here, I want to go ahead and work this out. We have the flange right here on the top, and we have the bottom that's pressed in. We're going to use our A-hammer and just work on the edge and then pop that bushing out. Now I want to go ahead and press our new bushing in. Pay attention to the side that the flange is on here. The bushing needs to go in through the other side, and this is going to press in and come out the other side. Now we're going to use a sleeve on this side here. Go ahead and press this in. At this point here, we have our bushing pressed in all the way. It's nice and flush, and the bushing is coming through on the other side here. So this is all set. Now what we did was we went ahead and we cleaned this up. We used some 400 grit sandpaper. We cleaned up around here, the surface, as well as the insert where the bushing is going to fit. So we're going to line this up. And we're going to give this a few taps. Then our bushing is coming through on the other side. Just tap that ear in a little bit. We're just going to work this a little bit to make sure that bushing is fully seated. We're just doing some love taps on this here to get it to make sure it's level. All right, our bushing is all the way in. Let's go ahead and install that arm. Let's go ahead and line up the back portion of the control arm. I'm going to feed the bolt through. We have the bolt through. Now we're going to take our extension and our nut. I'm going to go ahead and feed this in. Go ahead and get that nut started. Now that we have our forward mounted bolt in, install the nut. Let's go ahead and snug that down. In order to get to that neutral ride height, you're going to use your jack to raise it up to the point where it starts coming off of your jack stand. In our case, it'll just start to come off of our lift arm pads. All right, we're at that point right there. Let's go ahead and torque down this bolt. Now we're going to torque down both bolts to 55 foot-pounds. Let's go ahead and do the back bolt. Once you have these torqued, we can go ahead and lower down our jack. And go ahead and repeat the process for the driver's side. Once you're done with that, install your wheels and you're all set. I'm going to go ahead and torque these down to 100 foot-pounds.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.